welcome back to another episode of On the Trail, short episodes answering common questions therapists have about websites, SEO, and online marketing as they grow their private practices. I'm your host, Daniel Fava, founder of Private Practice Elevation. Today, I want to have an honest conversation with you about SEO, something we talk about a lot here on the podcast, specifically how long it actually takes to start working for your private practice. Now, I'm bringing this up because it's very top of mind. I'm getting a lot of calls from practice owners who are really feeling the pinch. Their schedules have maybe slowed down. They're getting fewer inquiries, fewer traffic on their websites. And so they're hearing a lot about SEO and they're thinking SEO can really turn things around and turn it around quick, maybe in a month or two. And I get that. When it's quiet, you get nervous, you want to fix. I feel that in my own business. So you need clients right now, and you're hoping that SEO, can be one of those things that helps to save you. And if anyone tells you that, yeah, SEO can save you and save you pretty quickly, they might not be the most honest person, and they might be leading you to disappointment. And that doesn't mean SEO isn't worth doing. It absolutely is. It's something I truly believe in, and it's something that has worked phenomenally for so many practices that we've helped, and specifically for my wife's own practice here in Atlanta. And one of the things I say a lot is that I think of SEO like a 401k. The best time to start was a year ago, and the second best time to start a 401k or retirement fund is today. And it compounds, it builds over time, and the practices really winning right now are the ones who started a few years ago, and they're staying consistent with the SEO work and the SEO strategy. So in this episode, I'm going to walk you through how long SEO really takes and why it takes that long, and most importantly, what you can do right now if you are, feeling that pinch and you really need to reach more clients. So like I said, I'm getting lots of calls lately, and people are reaching out, and they tell me, hey, my practice used to be full, or I didn't really need to do too much for marketing. My website just kind of worked and people just found me, but inquiries have dropped. I'm getting stressed because I need to maybe fill my team and their schedule, and I need to keep my clinicians busy, or I'm just wondering how am I going to make it through the next quarter to a year if it stays this way. And so they're wondering, SEO help fix this? And the answer is yes, but it's probably not in the way that they're hoping. And so that's what we're really digging into today, because I'm seeing this pattern a lot. Folks maybe sign up with us or want to work with us, but because they are in that desperate place, sometimes they're really expecting SEO to be like the end all be all. And when they don't see the results right away, they get frustrated, and then maybe they stop, working with us, or then they switch to something else or something else. That's our instinct. When things slow down, we want to grab the closest tool and start swinging. And SEO, it sounds appealing because it feels like it's free traffic. Eventually, people are just going to keep showing up. But, starting SEO when you're already desperate, like I said, it's like starting a 401k a little too late, like the year you're about to retire. That math just doesn't really work for you. So the myth that I want to clear up right at the top, because I think it's the single biggest reason practice owners get frustrated with SEO. And that myth is, if I hire someone to do SEO, clients are just going to start showing up within a few weeks, or even a month to 2 months. The reality is that meaningful SEO results typically take 6 to 12 months, sometimes longer. If you're in a really competitive city, a saturated niche in your market, cities like New York City or San Francisco, those larger cities, those clients that we have in those places, those saturated markets, they need to give it even more time sometimes. So here's why. Google's job is to send people searching for a therapist to the most trustworthy result. And trust takes time to earn. It takes time to earn with Google and with those potential clients. Google has to crawl through your site, evaluate your content, watch how people interact and engage with it, and decide whether you deserve to rank above all the other therapists who have been at this for years. And that process doesn't really happen in 30 days, sometimes not even 60 days. So if an agency or an SEO guy tells you that they can get you ranking in a month, I say don't work with them. They're either lying about something, or they're doing something that maybe is going to get you penalized. Maybe they have some tricks up their sleeve that are black hat, what's called black hat. And those are kind of tricky ways that that people do some tactics that if Google finds out, they're going to penalize you. So how long does SEO actually take? Obviously, that's the next question. So a realistic timeline, let's talk about a realistic timeline, based on what we see with our clients. So around the 3 month mark, you might start seeing some small movement. Maybe lower competition keywords might start ranking, page 2, maybe page 1. Maybe a blog post starts pulling in more traffic. You're starting to see more visibility. You're starting to see more impressions in your Google Search Console. It's encouraging, but it's not likely changing your business just yet. This is kind of like foundational. And at PPE, we do our SEO Base Camp, which is our 90-day project to really set the foundation to make sure that Google can crawl your website. And that's really kind of typically our starting point for SEO. Is first we need to make sure that Google can easily see the content on your website, can crawl through the pages and understand what it's all about. So by month 6, the foundation is typically solid and you're starting to see real traction. We recommend, when people do our monthly service for SEO, we recommend at least 6 months. That gives us enough time to see improvements, to see momentum, and see where things are heading. So at that 6-month mark, you're seeing the traction. Multiple pages are likely ranking. There's likely a steady increase in organic traffic and impressions in Google Search Console. And your first few inquiries that come from organic search, can likely happen around this point. And then by month 12, that's, really where it starts to get fun. And we do have clients that we've worked with SEO for 2 years plus, which is exciting. And it gives us so much data to work with that we can really hone our strategy and really understand how are people using the website, how are they finding it, and just keep tweaking and keep compounding these results. So at that 12-month mark, that compounding result effect is working in your favor. Multiple keywords ranking, more leads likely coming in consistently, and your cost per client is dropping because you're not paying for every single inquiry. And that's kind of like if you're doing Google ads, our hope is that you can decrease your ad spend over time as the organic traffic starts picking up. So, and there's a number of variables in all of this. Just want to mention that too. Your starting point matters. Like, if you're starting from ground zero, or has your website been established and live for a few years, that content's there, likely understands it a little bit, has a better starting point. Competition matters. So the people in your area, how are their websites? Have they been working on their SEO? How consistent are you publishing content to the website? So Google sees that there's more information related to your services and the topics and challenges and questions that your clients have. So, all those things matter, and those are variables. So, don't take the timeline, take it with a grain of salt is what I'm saying, because there are variables here. So why does it take so long? Good question. So there's a few reasons, behind why this takes so long. First, like I said, Google has to trust you. Your website is new in their eyes if it's just launched. Even if you've been in practice for 15 years, but maybe your website is either new or it's just been kind of stale for the last 5 years. Once you start making changes and Google starts seeing those, it's kind of like almost like a new website. They have to crawl through your pages, see your content, watch how people engage with it, and slowly decide if you're worth showing to people searching for related services. Second, your competitors, they are not standing still. There are practices in your area that started SEO 2, 3, 5 years ago, so they've got a head start. You're climbing a mountain that they've already been hiking up. And the third reason why it can take time is that real SEO involves creating contents, service pages, location pages, blog posts. Content has to be written, published, indexed, then given time to earn its place in the rankings. And finally, authority is one of those things too that is the reason why this takes a while, is other websites linking to yours, your business, growing its presence online, getting reviews maybe on your Google business profile. All of that builds over time, and that can take time to build that authority so that Google sees what this practice is an authority in what they do. And there's really no shortcut to doing that, and that's why it takes time. So if SEO takes a year, like I'm saying, to really pay off, why bother at all? Why not just run ads forever? Well, here's what I want to, bring back that 1K comparison, because I think it's the clearest way to think about this. I've used this analogy forever. It's my favorite. You've probably heard the saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Just like investing 20 years ago was the first best time. Second best time is to start today. So SEO really works in the same way. The best time to start SEO was a year ago plus. The best second time is right now, because that SEO compounds. One page that ranks well brings in traffic. That traffic leads to more visibility. More visibility leads to more backlinks. Backlinks make your website, your whole site stronger. Suddenly other pages start ranking too. You start interlinking those pages, hyperlinking them together, internal links. It starts to snowball over time. And the practices that are getting steady, predictable increase right now, like my wife, without paying for every click, they're the ones who started this work a year or two ago and stayed consistent. Now, my wife's website has been online since 2012. It's changed a whole lot. She shifted from solo to a group practice, and so we had to work through all of those transitions, but it's been established. And so she is seeing steady increase come in through her website. You're not building for next month. You're building for next year and the year after that. And if you don't start, you'll be having this exact same conversation in 12 months, still wishing you planted that tree. So if you are feeling like you need clients right now, I do want you to think about SEO, because this is like a long game strategy to really secure your practice for the future. I do want you to think about SEO right now. But what can you do if you do need clients, right now? So things just to think about and things that could help. First off, Google Ads, made mention of that. If you need to be at the top of the search results tomorrow, you got to pay for it. You can either pay in time with SEO, but if you don't have time, obviously money helps. So ads put you in front of people who are actively searching for a therapist right now. The downside is you're paying per click. The upside is that it works fast. So if you go this route, find a specialist who knows how to run ads for therapists specifically. One of the folks that we have partnered with before, who I trust, is John and his team over at revkey.com. So check them out. Second, I say, get your networking boots on and get going. I know that's not glamorous, and it can take time to develop those relationships, but reach out to other therapists, primary care doctors, school counselors, churches, attorneys, anyone who is serving your ideal clients, and start creating those connections, because referrals can work really great. And third, maybe reactivate past clients. If you have an email list, start sending out newsletters, and so you can be top of mind. Maybe there's a past client who's still on that email list, and then they're thinking, oh, I need to come in and have a check-in session. So get those people reactivated. Fourth, dial in those directory profiles: Psychology Today, Therapy Den, Alma, your insurance directories. Make sure that those are up to date. A lot of the times, I know when folks have updated their psychology profile, maybe filled it out with more detail, that kind of kicks something off where you might see a few more inquiries in the next few weeks, because it does something to the algorithm. All right, so here's some of the things that I want you to take away from this episode. I know we're going a little longer than the typical On the Trail, but there's a lot to say about it. So SEO definitely is the long game. And so, if you're looking for clients, it's not just SEO or ads. Both can really work together. So, you can run ads or work your network in the short term. That's how you kind of keep the lights on and keep folks, coming now. But at the same time, invest in SEO for the long term. That's how you're going to stop having this same panic conversation 18 months from now. And so the practices that I see really thriving, they're not choosing just one channel. They're kind of stacking this. And ads bring in clients today. SEO brings in clients next year. Referrals bring in clients steadily in between. It's kind of having those different referral sources coming into the practice. So just a quick recap, and we will land this plane. Number one, SEO takes 6 to 12 months to show meaningful results, sometimes longer. Anyone promising faster than that isn't necessarily telling you the truth. And if you need clients right now, SEO is likely not your answer. Google Ads and networking can be your best bet. Don't skip SEO just because it's slow. Please don't. It really compounds over time, makes your practice sustainable when ad budgets get tight or referral sources dry up. So start today, and a year from now, I do hope that you will be really glad you did. And if you need help building an SEO strategy that actually pays off down the road, that's exactly what we do at Private Practice Elevation. And you can schedule a clarity call at privatepracticeelevation.com/kickoff, and we can talk about what that looks like. Thank you so much for listening. Now go elevate your practice.